We're back.
Oh, man. Are you recording this? Oh, Jesus. Nope. Nobody. Nope. You almost just killed yourself with the headphones.
It was pulling my hair again.
Just waiting for you. Just waiting for you.
Life is hard.
Okay, so what were we just talking about?
We were talking about...
I don't even remember.
Well, use me as an example.
Oh,
and
God.
not being able to BS you as a...
That's right. We talked about people just bullshitting, you know. So, yeah, man, you know, touching a little bit more on that. If you are, let's say, working with a coach or a trainer, you know, I talk about being honest with yourself, but be honest with them, right? I was kind of getting into that. Be honest with whoever you're working with, because if they have been doing this long enough, like I have, and Rachel's starting to get to this point too, we know what you're doing. You know what I mean? We know what your day is like. We know if you are eating too much, eating too little, you know, eating the right foods, whatever it is, like, we have a good idea. So be honest. You know, be honest with yourself, be honest with them. Because if you are honest with them, they can probably help you.
Yeah.
But if you're just bullshitting them, they probably can't help.
And I mean, it goes back to like, they just want an excuse, right? It's like, oh, I was working with this trainer or something, and it just didn't work for me. It's like, well, I bet it wasn't the trainer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like...
No, yes and no. Because I've had people that are, you know, that have worked with trainers or working out at XYZ gym doing this or that or the other, and it's like, well, yeah, what you're doing probably wasn't the most beneficial type of training for you.
The goal might be to sell.
Yeah, and that well, yeah, that could take us down a whole nother rabbit hole, because that was like what got me out of the Globo gym scene when I first started as a trainer. Was like they didn't care. They didn't give a shit. Like, if I was helping somebody in any way, it was just like, can you resell them 12 more training sessions? You know? So, yeah. So be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your coach. If you have a coach, you know, whether that be, you know, a trainer, a nutrition coach, whatever it is, like just honesty in training and diet and with what you're doing. Mikey, you got anything?
Yeah. Beverages.
Oh, boy.
And this is going to, so I have 3 categories here, and then I'll let you take off after I say them. So with 1, water.
Yes.
A gigantic gallon a day is going to make me healthier and is good for me and is what I should be doing.
Not necessarily.
Second, so you could expand on whatever you want after I do the 3.
No, I'm done with my answer.
Second one, sports drinks. They're fine because I work out, so I can drink as many as I... Okay, well, we're busting myths here.
I'm just giving you quick answers.
These are your ideas.
I thought this was like the bonus speed round. I'm just giving you the quick answer.
This is not a game show? What?
Yeah.
Pre-workouts, healthy and beneficial, and
Your heart's going to explode.
C4.
Oh, God. And I'll tell that story in a second. So you're going to have to remind me of the questions as we go. But let's start with the water.
That's what's on my mind.
So just because you drink a ton of water doesn't mean that you're doing your body a ton of good and you're healthy. Now, is it beneficial to drink water? Yes, it is, especially if you're active. What's a good place to start? About half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, start with 100 ounces of water a day. Spread that out throughout the day. Don't drink too late in the day, because then you're going to have to be up all night peeing. Now, with that being said, the more I move my body, I'm probably going to need to increase my water intake, right? I need to be hydrated more. Now, if I am only taking in water, that's fantastic as my beverages. If I am not taking in electrolytes, right, meaning like my sodium, my potassium, my magnesium, chloride, all these different electrolytes that help to keep you hydrated, you're probably peeing all that stuff out. And I see people do that all the time. It's like, oh, yeah, I drink a ton of water, but I cramp up all the time. Well, your electrolytes are probably down, right? So, and there's a huge thing with that too. What's huge right now is keto, right? Keto is a big thing with diet. Well, if I am in a ketogenic state, right, or I'm even eating lower carbohydrate, you probably need more of those electrolytes. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing that, but your electrolyte levels usually need to be bumped up, whether it be through an electrolyte supplement, adding more salt to your food, whatever it is, because carbohydrate, the word hydrate, what's that mean? I'm hydrating my body. I'm hydrating my muscles. I'm hydrating my cells. If I'm not taking in carbohydrates as food, what do I need more of? I need the salt, something to help me retain that water, right? I need that sodium. I need those things. So, yes, water is good. But just because you drink more water doesn't mean you're going to be healthier. It doesn't mean you're going to help yourself more. That will lead me into sports drinks. Go ahead.
What's a good source for those electrolytes? So salt will help you retain?
So I like Redmond's Real Salt.
Okay.
Because it's got other minerals and stuff in it. And for me personally, like if you guys work out at 6 a.m., you've seen me do this before. I'll walk in, usually about a half hour before Rachel and I start a workout, or even in the mornings before I go for a run, about a half hour before, I'll take a pinch of Redmond's Real Salt, throw it under my tongue, let it sit there for about 30 seconds, and I'll drink a little water down with it. There's also times where I'll make what I call old school Gatorade, because that's kind of what it reminds me of. I'll take 24 ounces worth of water. I'll add some lemon to it, some ice, probably a quarter to half a teaspoon, not tablespoon, of, because it makes a big difference.
Yes.
Because taking too much salt too fast, you're going to blow your back door out. So I will sip that after a workout. That's tough. And that will help me replenish. So that's just some things you do. Like Rachel will drink 2 or 3 of her salt waters a day.
Yep.
And it for me, like I notice a considerable difference when I have salt and when I don't.
Oh, for
in
sure.
Performance, how I feel, energy levels, like there's a ton of stuff there.
I get bad headaches if I don't have my salt.
Yeah.
And we know instantly.
Yeah. Yeah. But that, for me, that's the easiest way to do it, like to increase like the salt intake. I always start with salt because that's usually the big one. But you can buy electrolyte supplements. Rob Wolf actually has his. It's Element. I think it's Drink Element is the name of it, and it's great. I've used that one quite a bit, and I was for a little while. I used that one when I was running a lot more. I would probably burn through 2, 3, maybe 4 of those like on race days. So yeah, I mean there's different supplements out there. You have like Noon Tabs and stuff like that, but if you're looking for a supplement, do your research. Like I said, I like Rob Wolf's. His is a good one. It's a quality product. But I know there's other ones out there, So like I said, do your research on what you're taking. Don't just, because I'm saying this, run to the store and go buy X, Y, Z,
right?
Whatever. And look at what you're buying too. Like if you're going for something, if you're somebody that does lower carb or keto, like a lot of these have sugar and stuff in them too. Like be careful with what you're buying. Okay.
So just to recap, half your weight in ounces
to start. Yeah.
And then as you get busier or more active, then you go up from there, or
okay. Increase. And
just make sure you're getting electrolytes in the forms of salt or these mentioned supplements.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, for sure. And that'll kind of take me into, I think, the last part you had there with the sports drinks, right? Because that's what sports drinks will always claim is, oh yeah, well we have I'm not going to say the G word, but that sports drink I'm talking about, they have a ton of electrolytes. Gatorade, right?
Just say it.
Yeah. No, I'm just being a smart ass. We got a ton of electrolytes, it's so good for athletes and whatever. Yeah, but you got a ton of sugar in there too, right? Like, plus you got a lot of different dyes and food colorings and things like that. Like, no joke, we had a kid on our baseball team a couple years ago, and the mom was talking about, I can't give so-and-so red Gatorade. And we're like, okay. I don't really give Dalton Gatorade, so I'm like, oh, I wonder why. What's this, whatever dye it is, that's in to color it or whatever. She goes,
5 or something like that.
yeah, I don't know what it is, but it will cause him to be an asshole. She goes, I see, like, when he has that, like, I see a mood change in him, and he's, whatever, it affects him.
I remember something like that when I was a kid.
You're still an asshole.
Yeah, I mastered that craft, but I remember something about like red number 5. You just said 5, right? Yeah, I remember something went around about that. Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anything proven behind that or whatever, but I'm sure it is that same thing. And she would say, like, if he has that, he's a punk. 'Cause they had him like in the snack bag or something after a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, I think there's just too much crap in them. Now they have Gatorade Zeros, right? That are like 0 carb, whatever. Like I keep some of those in the fridge here in case I am like super depleted. Now, that's something I do. Have you ever seen me drink one?
No, I've seen them in there, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't even know why they were in there.
Right. That's I keep those here. Like, if I do a 10-mile run, I don't have anything else. Like, and I know I need some sort of electrolyte. Right? That's not something I do consistently. And I don't recommend it. I recommend trying to get all that other stuff from like a decent natural source. You can get, your potassium, magnesium, things like that come from, spinach and
food.
Bananas and potatoes and, whatever, however you eat, you can find foods that are higher in those minerals, right? So go to the whole real food sources for those things first, right? Or, find a supplement that works for you that, it doesn't have a lot of shit in it. Cool. Was that everything on the water, on the drink?
Pre-workout.
Oh, pre-workout. Oh, Jesus. So that's another thing, right? And this will lead me into one of the ones that I had here, but pre-workouts, I usually tell people to stay away from. Because most of the time they have things that are bad for you, right? For me, anything that's going to like feel like my heart's going to beat out of my throat, like that's probably not the best thing for me to take, right? Like, come on, man, you're taking cocaine at that point, Like, let's be smart, right? Let's be smart with what we're doing here. If I can take something and I'm going to sit, and I know caffeine does this, so everybody's going to argue with me about this, about like, oh yeah, well, caffeine, will increase your heart rate mildly, right? If I take something, say my resting heart rate's at 70. If I take something and I'm not exercising and I can just sit on a bench here at the gym and all of a sudden my heart rate just slowly increases, it's a $120 just sitting around, I probably shouldn't take that. You know what I mean? I probably shouldn't take that. And I'll use Todd as an example. So Todd, hopefully you're listening. So he got a free handout. Went to GNC one night. This is like when I first moved the gym to Livermore. He first started coming to the gym. We got a GNC by here. He goes over there and he goes, yeah, man, I need to get some protein. And the guy working gave me the sample of, I can't remember the supplement, right? So it was a pre-workout. This fool starts working out and you can see his eyes. He just gets like bug-eyed, right? And he's like grinding his teeth.
Oh,
doing
man.
Like these. And then he's like, literally goes over and sits on a bench. He's like, I feel like my heart's going to beat through my chest right now. He's like, free. I'm like, okay, well, you're done working out. I'm like, and then I find out he had taken it before coming to the gym. I'm like, he took like half of what they told him to. I'm like, to me, that doesn't sound like that's a good thing. Now, are there pre-workouts that are natural, things that are not detrimental to you? Probably. There's stuff out there. Me personally, I haven't done the research on pre-workouts just because I know that most of the stuff out there is
probably not good.
Yeah, meant to get you jacked up, right? And meant to make you all crazy. Like, and here's the thing, like, how about we work on our own motivation and discipline a little bit?
I was gonna say.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have that desire to work out, you don't have that like
energy.
Not even just the energy. It's the get up and go to go work out. Reevaluate your goals, like we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and if you're like diet's on point and stuff, you're gonna have the energy.
You're gonna feel better.
Yeah, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna want to do it
for sure.
What is the new one? It's like the Bang Energy. Is it Bang
Energy drinks?
Energy drinks. I see those everywhere now. And
the Red Bulls, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all the same shit.
They try to claim all this natural and healthy stuff. So like this,
and all of
class I had a semester or two, we had to pick a product and do research on it.
Yeah.
And man, they try to like sell it as, and I was thinking of you the whole time. I was like, yeah, right. You tear this shit up right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did I tell you when I took a pre-workout?
No.
So I'd probably when I started working out early, I probably bought one time. It's the only time I ever bought a pre-workout. And so a couple times I got away with it and nothing really happened, right? But the last time and the last time I've taken it was like, it was a Saturday morning, came in here, was all ready to go. I was like, oh man, I'm ready, for whatever. And you had us do a PVC something where we're barely moving. Yeah. What was it?
We were probably practicing cleans.
That.
Yeah.
We were probably practicing some cleans or snatches, and you guys were doing PVC work to start.
Everybody's in a circle, and I'm just spazzing out, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like a crackhead. And I even
man.
I even stopped paying attention at one point, and you just looked at me. You go, what the fuck are you doing? And I just called me out in class, and I was like, nothing. Like, and it was stupid because it's like, why aren't you simply moving the PVs?
Right.
Man, never touch it again. But
It sounds like you took like a real drug.
Yeah.
Like that's
It might have been.
I was like,
it might have been. You never know.
I don't know what it was.
You never know.
Well, and then also like what's in them, because we took something. It wasn't a pre-workout. We took something before a workout. And remember, I have like niacin.
So here, there's a couple different things. So there's niacin, right, which is gonna kind of make like you kind of like blood flow rush. Niacin a lot of times is tied to B vitamins.
Is it like a blood pressure medication or something?
Niacin will niacin, yeah, it'll increase blood flow, right, and it will get you kind of flush.
Remember,
a lot of times it'll upset your stomach. A lot of times, beta alanine is another one that you'll see. Like, there's like a lot of these pre-workouts. Like, people take them, and they get tingly. You ever get like the tingles from pre-workout? It's usually beta alanine that does that, right? So, and that you look at ingredients, and that's the thing is like a lot of these pre-workouts, they don't have shit in them. Like most of them will have like, oh yeah, this something root and that the root and this and that, and trying to make things. But if you look, the majority of what you're taking is just a truckload of caffeine and beta alanine. So it's like, yeah, your heart rate's going to go through the roof because you took way too much caffeine. Like I said, a cup of coffee, cool, but you have a ton of caffeine, and then that beta alanine where you get like the tingly feeling, and you're like, whoa, wow, I'm on fire right now. Like, yeah no, it's there's just too much. Yeah, there's a bunch of crap.
Well, I know like I can't take a lot of anything, or like something happens. And that time with that, remember I got like
everything affects you.
I can't take anything, and so like my whole body had like not hives, but that's what it looked like. All of a sudden, like instantly, my whole body, and it was like, oh my god, I freaked out about it, but we just had to drink a bunch of water and it was fine.
Yeah. We stopped your workout. We had to drink a bunch of water, just kind of chill out for a little bit, and
know what you're taking. Like,
definitely know. And that it kind of leads me into like what I was gonna bring up here. Next topic is just supplements in general, right? Because this is one I get all the time. Is like, if I take this, it's gonna solve my problem. Well, hey, what if I take this? Will this solve my problem? No, it won't. It won't. Like supplements are like that tiny little percentage when you're doing everything else right that you can add on for that extra benefit. I'm going to say that again. Supplements are there to supplement. They're there to add on when you are doing everything else right. And that's where people go wrong, right? Like, now, when I say that, like, if you want to take a protein supplement, a protein shake, because you undereat protein in your diet, okay. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. But don't think that drinking a protein shake is going to be that magic formula, or if I drink 3 protein shakes a day, that's going to be the magic formula to you getting super jacked and shredded. You're better off a lot of times eating whole real food. But if you struggle to get that protein in through whole real food, sure, throw a little bit of protein in, right? If you take that fat burner, or you take that pre-workout, or if you start taking, whatever, give me a supplement, I don't know, like, it's not going to solve all your problems. right? It's not going to cure all the other stuff that you are doing incorrectly, right? You need to have everything dialed in, and then you supplement. Then you add the stuff on top, right? And when you are adding in supplements, again, know what you're taking. Know what you're taking. Know what the desired outcome is from what you are taking. I have so many people that just, hear hot words within the supplement industry, and they're like, yeah, I should take this. Why? Why should you take it? Well, I saw this dude that from, Muscle and Fitness was taking it. Awesome. Does he have what you want physically? Is he going for the same desired outcome that you are? Are you doing whatever else to get to that point? Probably not. Probably not. Like, evaluate it, right? Think about what you're taking, why you're taking it, what's in what you're taking. There's a lot that goes on there. Supplements aren't the cure for everything.
Maybe focus on the basic stuff first, get that down, then try to do stuff like that. Because you always see like on TV movies, or even you can see it in real life, the guy who has, or the girl that has the bag of like 80 different things. Oh yeah, I got this. And it's like, well, I haven't seen you do anything yet either. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes like on a take it a step further. Okay. What's the next step? You hear guys talk about all the time, steroids, right? You hear guys like, well, man, if I was juicing, I'd be shredded. And, steroids are the same. It's the same thing. Like, that's not magically going to make you shredded. Like those guys, and I'm not promoting steroids by any means, but those guys who are taking that stuff that are shredded are still putting in a shit ton of work, and they're still dialed in with their diets, and they're still sleeping enough. They're probably sleeping more. And their recovery is probably awesome. And it's even more beneficial because that's why a lot of those guys do take steroids, is it helps them recover from their workouts, right? That's the benefit of it. But just because you start juicing and you're eating, crap food and whatever, that doesn't mean it doesn't counteract it. Same thing with a supplement. It doesn't counteract all the bad shit you're doing, right? I still have to do the work. I still have to put in that effort. I still have to have that majority of my training, my sleep, my nutrition. Everything has to be good. Supplements aren't the magic answer. Neither are steroids. And steroids are more detrimental to you than the supplements are. So
I always hear, like steroids are cheating. I mean, and again, we're not promoting steroids in any way, but really, are they? Because you do have to do the work. What do you say to that? Like, when people...
I have mixed opinions on this, right? And it's okay. So there's every single person is different. Okay. Every single person's chemical makeup is different. If you took Mike and I, we're both males. You took Mike and I in and had a hormone panel done out of both of us right now. His level for testosterone may be up here and mine may be way down here. Now, that's where hormone replacement therapy comes in, right? Like, especially me, since I'm older. You probably go in and they give you a dose and they keep you at a higher level. Do I think that is okay? Sure. Now, do I think there's a point where it gets a little out of hand and people are taking too much? Yes. Right? Like, if your levels are super low, when I'm talking low, I mean like super low to the point like where, it's detrimental to your health, I think you should be allowed to take hormones. I do. Now, I say that with a little bit of caution, right? Because you get people, athletes especially, that are always looking for a little bit of an advantage, right? You get people in general that are always looking for that little bit of an advantage. That's a real slippery slope of, well, my level, because they'll give you like ranges on your levels when you get tested, right? Well, my level's not really at the top, so I should probably start taking more. It's
chase those margins.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that once you start to do that, I think that's where people will start to have a problem. How do I say it? Have a problem with exactly that. They're chasing it, right? And you're chasing those numbers and you're trying to elevate more and more and more. Well, that to me, I think is going to cause them to get to a point where they're just like, screw it. Screw the numbers. I'm not going to go to the doctor for the hormone replacement. I'm going to go to Joe Schmo down the street and get it myself and start pushing past. I just think it's to me it's a drug, right? It's a drug. Like any other drug, it causes that need and that want for more and that addiction.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You see bodybuilders. I mean, you think about
Because then I
this.
imagine it's just a little more, and then you're going to see the differences more than anybody else, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine just like anything else. So then you just keep pushing, right?
Yeah, and you think about it this way, like you're smart. Like each person is smart. Every person is smart. Like you know how your body feels, right? I know how I feel physically, mentally every day. If I'm taking something that makes me feel better than what I was, I know it, right? Whether that's physical or mental. Okay, now what's the natural reaction to that for most people?
Make more.
Exactly. Okay, so
Even better.
right, and that's where I kind of go, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Even like the hormone replacement stuff, I don't know if that's okay. Now, you want to see it even more so, and why I think this is more of an addictive drug than what people will talk about is you'll see like bodybuilders, for an example, or whoever cycle, right? They'll do it for 12 weeks or 16 weeks, and they will come off this stuff. You ever seen somebody come off steroids before? Somebody who's really taking them and whatever?
I know very, very little about this stuff.
Moody little bitches. You know what I mean? Because now all of a sudden they're not.
They're like detoxing?
Yeah, basically their levels like, so when you take like testosterone, right? Like for like a guy, you're pumping in, anywhere from 50 to 100 to 1,000 times the amount your body can produce naturally. Right? And I can't remember the exact numbers, but let's say the number is 5, right? Instead of having the number 5, right, that my body produces naturally, now I'm putting in 200, right? So, yeah, it's just a lot, right? So when you stop taking that 200, your body goes, no, you were giving it to me, so I'm not going to produce it.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, like, I don't have that in my body, so my body's going, come on, man, I need this stuff. Give it to me. And then that's where, your hormone balance gets out of whack. Everything gets kind of funky.
Why do you cycle? Like, why do they come off of it?
Some don't. Some don't,
Okay.
depending on how much they take. And there's different, all these dudes have different methods to it. Like they'll try and, cycle through as they're like building up for a show or competition or whatever. And then they'll come off of it, let their body's natural levels kind of reset, or hopefully reset, and they'll take things to counter that too that are supposed to help with natural production as well as like keeping their estrogen levels low. Like the amount of time and effort that goes into this a lot of these people is crazy.
Yeah.
And I understand it's a science and it's a game and it's, but I don't know.
What about for women when do you think it could be more detrimental to them as their
I think
later
either
in life, or
I think
don't
either
know.
way.
It doesn't
I
matter.
think
Okay.
male, female, you're talking, you're playing with science, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're playing with science. Like what is it where what is Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Remember Jurassic Park where it's like you are 100% playing with fire when you're playing with science.
Yeah.
And I kind of believe that.
Well, in the bodybuilding world right now, I mean, you almost have to be on it to even compete.
Yeah, I mean depending on what you're doing, but for most, yes.
Yeah.
For most, yes. I mean, you look at a lot of these guys, and they're my height and they're 300 pounds. Yeah, I mean at the the biggest level of competition,
Yeah.
but it's like
Not natural.
no, all natural.
I remember seeing the first girl I've ever seen take steroids, and it was her abs were shredded like a man. Just
Ridiculous.
And I remember you pointing it out and being like, that's not normal. You know what I mean?
Right, and then the ones who are, and I'll say that we got a second. So the ones who are ridiculously shredded, the females who are ridiculously shredded, you can see all the abs. Is that possible? Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
100% possible. But it's not common. It's not common. Just based off of the way women are built and the way that their bodies are. Is it possible? Yeah, for sure it's
Yeah.
possible. But you know, the amount of training and, you know, diet and the things that take to get to that point it's hard. You know, it's hard. There's a lot of stuff that's going on there to get them to that point. And a lot of it has to do with their own chemical makeup, anatomy, physiology, you know, everything that's going on with that individual person. Right. But it's very rare. Very, very rare.
Yeah.
Okay. What got us here? Oh, talking about supplements, steroids. Yeah, and how, you know, just by taking that stuff, like, you're not automatically going to get an outcome. You know, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And don't just take something because you think you're going to get that magical outcome. Mikey, what you got? I see you on your computer.
I'm just taking notes as we go on things you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had the beverage kind of category.
Okay. I got another one for you here. It's the last note that I had. I know you had a few more for me too, but is it easier to lose weight or gain muscle? Right? Because we get people that ask this, you know, at different times, or somebody will say, well, it's easy because you're trying to do this and my goal is, you know, it's like, number one, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Worry about your own damn goal and what you are trying to do, and know that everybody has a different goal. Right? And that's something I get frustrated with, and I'll make comments to people here at the gym is like, you don't know what that person's trying to do, so shut up. You know, unless you know them personally, don't worry about it. Let their goals be their goals. But if you are, you know, like going back to that, if you are trying to gain muscle or lose fat, again, it goes back to that individual person, right? And I use my nephew Jacob as an example. Jacob was like one of the hardest gainers I've ever seen. Like Jacob, I mean, you saw him work out. Jacob worked out like a savage, right? But it was so hard to get him to put on muscle. Part of it was age, you know, and he was Jake was super active, like in high school and
moving burning all day, huh?
Yeah, all day long. But also he was one, like, I couldn't get him to eat enough, right? Like, and he, uncle, I eat a ton. And then I'd watch him eat. I'm like, you don't eat that much. You little girl, knock it off. Tell me you eat a lot, right? But, you know, I've seen that. I've seen people that lose weight easy. I see people that's harder for, you know. I think it all depends on the individual person. 100% depends on the individual person. Like for me, I've always been somebody, if I want to, I can put on size quick, right? I can, and it depends, you know, like I said, you can't spot reduce. You can't necessarily spot gain, but like, I know, like when I train, my legs blow up. My upper body blows up. Like I can put on size fast. For a lot of people, that's extremely hard. A lot of that is just my genetic makeup, right? Things are easier for me based off the way I'm built, based off the way that I can eat, you know, because that is something that each person has, right? Like for me, eating is easy. Eating a lot of food is easy. And I mean, you've seen it firsthand. For my nephew, it's the opposite. Yeah. You know, so it varies from person to person. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. It's like I'm the same way, and so it's funny. Like, you know, I think like, what do you mean like you can't eat more? And it's like, no, some people, because it's not us, right? And we just think everybody's the same. It's like a perfect example, you know. Right. So it just that's always interesting.
And it is, and that's a hard thing. Like as a coach, that's a hard thing to remember. You know, it's a real hard thing to remember. And I'll give an example of this. When I first started coaching football, I was coaching freshman football and I was coaching defensive backs, and it was like first day of practice, freshman kids, half of them, you know, are just, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just lost in life and, you know, never played football before, just stumbling around a football field. But they want to play football. Awesome. We get them out there. So, okay, first thing we're going to do is put you in a stance, and then I'm going to teach you how to backpedal. You know, I said, we're going to put you in a stance, and we're going to backpedal. So get the kids in stances. We start to backpedal. It's like 5, 6 kids like couldn't backpedal. So my brain at that age, I'm like, how do you not know how to backpedal? Like, you know, it's you can't relate to it, you know? So
that's like, you know, even here, like teaching someone how to skip. I'm like, what? I mean, you didn't skip through fields when you were younger? Because I sure did. I'm like, what? Where was the frolicking? You know? And I'm like, oh yeah, not everyone does the same as you.
Right. And that's a tough thing to remember, like as a coach, a lot of times. It's like, okay, this person has never done this before. Like we've had people who've come to the gym, and we've had a few people start recently who like just have never, like I had a guy who'd never done a squat. I'm like, you've never done a squat before? Nope. Have you sat down? Yep. Stood back up. Yep. Okay, you've done a squat. We can work with this, right? But realizing that and knowing that just, what you think is commonplace because you do it doesn't mean that everybody else does, So, yeah. What you got, man?
Nothing right now. We covered things that I was fine. I could find some more.
Oh, boy.
See.
Oh, boy.
We can go back to the what's easier to gain or lose.
Oh, the gain or
Yeah,
lose.
that's
That's
right.
what got that. Sorry, man. That's what got us to that point. So, squirrel brain.
Yeah.
Here.
I'm the one in charge right now.
I don't know.
You're doing great.
Kind of makes me nervous.
Me too.
But yeah, is it easier to gain or lose? Neither. Neither answer is right. Like I said, for some people, it's all based off that individual person. Like for some people, it's going to be easier to gain weight. For some people, it's going to be easier to lose weight. And it's person by person. It's person by person. But I hate hearing it's easier because you're trying to gain, or I hate hearing, it's easier because you're trying to lose, or it's not easier for anybody.
Well, that's just playing the blame game so that
Exactly.
you don't feel as bad about yourself. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
Exactly. And it's not easier for one person than the other. It's just, okay, knowing what you're trying to do and figuring out the path to do it. Right? Yeah. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got anything else to say?
No, it's not loading.
Oh, too bad. You have anything that you wanted to add to this? Anything that we missed, like misconceptions in training, something that we didn't talk about, something that we did talk about that you want to talk about more? You tell me.
I mean, not really. It's not a misconception, but like a lot of people are told like, oh, you shouldn't lift heavy. I have a bad knee, and I was told I shouldn't lift heavy.
This is a good one.
But you know what I mean? Like, and so many people are cautious when they come in, and they're like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. My back is bad. All these things.
No.
But
okay,
yes,
let's start this. If you're somebody who has an injury, right, and you have some sort of pre-existing condition, should you hop in and automatically start lifting heavy weights? No. You should not. But I am a firm believer that if you do have an injury, you do have some sort of pre-existing condition, you do have something going on physically, that you do need to get stronger. Okay? Now, how do you help that? You help that with some resistance training. You help that with circulation and blood flow and range of motion. Right? That's my own personal prescription there, right? Like that's what I firmly believe. Now, again, if you have a bad back, you have a bad knee, does that mean you need to load a barbell up and start trying to squat to a full range of motion? No, this should be done and built up over time, right? There are very few people who have an injury or have a condition that is going to cause them to not be able to do something for the rest of their lives. But I think that a lot of times doctors are overly cautious because it's their ass on the line, and they don't want to be the one that's pushing somebody to get hurt again, number one, right? Which I understand, and I'm in that position too. Like, I'm not going to go, yeah, you had back surgery, let's have you deadlift 500 pounds.
Totally.
But I am one that goes, yeah, you had back surgery, but you need to pick shit up off the ground for the rest of your life. So let's figure out how to get you to do that safely.
Yeah, but and like you said,
does that mean you're going to deadlift in competition? No. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I was just going to say, we are told, like, if you're not a professional athlete, when you go to the doctor, and because I'm a mother's worst nightmare when it comes to going to the doctor, breaking everything and stuff. It's like, oh no, you shouldn't do that anymore. You shouldn't. It's like, okay, well, can we like at least try to get me to do that again?
All right. So I'm gonna use one too that hits close to home with me, Tara. Right. So if you guys don't know my wife's history with athletics, she was a Division I swimmer, right? Scholarship kid, swam all through college, had some back injuries that went on while she was younger, started to work out, progress, became a mom, had all sorts of stuff, commuting from Livermore to Fremont every day. That commute got worse and worse and worse. Sitting in a car, right? 2.5 hours a day. Her back started to get worse and worse and worse. got to the point where there's a lot of days where I had to help her get dressed, right? Lots of days. She'd get out of the car almost crying because her back hurt so bad, or it was hard for her to get up out of a chair. Her workouts got worse. Okay, time to go to the doctor. Go to the doctor, x-rays, MRIs, thousands of dollars later. Need ibuprofen and to rest. Awesome. Well, what's going on? You have degenerative discs, right? You have all stuff going on, lower spine, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Your cure for that is to tell me to take ibuprofen and do nothing. Okay, so that's the start to it. Well, how long do I do this? Well, eventually the discs, and I can't remember everything that I said was going on there. Is arthritis and degenerative discs, and eventually the discs will kind of solidify, and the pain will kind of go away, but your range of motion, mobility is going to change. And well, how long can that take? It could be 6 weeks. It could be 20 years. So you're going to tell me I'm going to pop ibuprofens and sit on my ass for the next 20 years and wait. So what did we do? We started number one. And I knew the car that she was driving, that old little Mazda we had.
Manual transmission.
Yeah, it was a stick, right? So grinding the stick for 2.5 hours a day, like trying to shift and push the clutch, like that sucks.
Well, in traffic, that's super
right.
worse than
so
just driving.
First thing was like, all right, we're gonna trade the car and get her a new car. So we did that. Second is okay, you've been doing things to cater to this. Let's have you squat some more. Let's have you deadlift some more. Not heavy. Let's have you do these motions that you've been afraid to do, because they affect that area. Let's get those areas stronger. Let's cut out, and at this point, like we hadn't been eating wheat or anything like that, but let's cut out any of the inflammatory foods that you are eating. And now, this was probably 3 years ago that process started. Like, I watched her PR a deadlift the other day.
Wow.
At 44 years old. You know what I mean? And you're watching her run and move and burpee and jump and do all these things. And it wasn't by sitting on her ass.
Mm-hmm.
It was by increasing range of motion, blood flow, mobility, and some resistance training. I mean, to me, like,
yeah,
that seems pretty evident. Of like what you should be doing.
But that's awesome because she has you to do that with. I think a lot of people, because what the doctor said, they don't have someone to like advocate like you can do this because it's scary, right?
Right.
And so that's the problem with like our medical community. They're not even asking what you personally do or what you want. They're just giving you a textbook answer because they have to cover their ass.
Right, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
There's getting into healthcare and stuff like that. It's sick care. Right, yeah. They want to take care of you because you're sick, and they want to keep you. I don't want to say they want to keep you sick, but that's business, man.
Yeah, it can
that's
sell
business.
More.
We
They want to keep treating you.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's like David Goggins, what he went through, and what he discovered on his own. The doctors are saying, "Well, don't do any of this," and he stretched his way back to his own health. And I thought that was, just like Tara sounds like a parallel of that.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. He's had that multiple times.
He just stretched, yeah.
He had it like with the whole stretching thing. He had it with the whole heart condition where they didn't know he had a heart. Well, no, your body's just overtrained and whatever. It's like, no, dude's got a fucking hole in his heart and needs to be fixed. It's like, so. Anyways, I think that not being afraid to move, and doing that is highly beneficial.
Well, and I know like even coming here, when someone first signs up, we go through a bunch of stuff with them, talk to them, and most people will say like, oh, I have a problem with this area or, whatever. And they'll say they have an injury and it's like
or the best one, I can't squat because my knees hurt.
Correct. And so
I'll say, so what's the first thing we do? Okay. I want to see you try and squat.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, your knees hurt because they're, you're squatting. Your knees are almost touching themselves like while you squat because they cave in. No wonder why your knees hurt.
Yeah.
But
it's so easy just to say, oh no, I can't do that because that's what other people say. Like, oh, if it hurts, don't do it. It's like, maybe you should try to do a little bit more research and figure out like, hey, like,
right.
what there's a reason why behind it. It's not like just like, oh, my body's done doing that now.
Right. Well, and here's the thing too, is like you get so many people too, like with injuries that don't really know the extent of the injuries that they have. Because this is the one I hear all the time. Oh man, well I blew out my knee, 10 years ago. Man, did you have surgery? What'd you do? Did you pull, you tear an ACL, whatever? Oh, nah, man, I just kind of twisted it up and I'm sure I tore something in there. Okay, first off, you don't know what the hell you did. Okay, you never went to a doctor for it. You didn't blow your knee out. You didn't, be real with what you got going on. Oh, I tore my hamstring. When did you tear your hamstring? 3 weeks ago. I just saw you run yesterday. You didn't tear your hamstring 3 weeks ago. You might have got a little strain, a little pull or something, but come on, man. Like those are the ones that kill me. Those are the ones that kill me. Like, like, shh, you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, and it's so many people with injuries, and it's because of what you're fed and what you're told, are afraid to move, right? I don't know. Like the more I see here, knowledge I gain just with through my own injuries and stuff. Like the best way I can tell you to help is to just keep moving.
Well, Tara's mom's a great example too with her knee surgery.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how old she is, but like
we won't say.
Yeah, but it's Tara's mom, and she had a full knee replacement, right?
Yep.
And then she was back in here and like every single day, working out, deadlifting, doing all these things. And sure, did we baby step it in?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? And she started PRing, and until COVID. I mean, COVID was the only thing that kind of stopped her. But
she's still working out at home.
She's an older woman who had a full knee replacement and is doing more than most people.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's just it too. It's has lost a ton of weight, feels great, and it's just And what was the answer to it? Just keep moving.
And she started working out as an older woman. She wasn't someone who.
Oh no, so
it's
sure.
It's not too late. Like we've seen it.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. What else? Anything else you want to touch on? Rach, you got anything else?
No.
Nothing?
I mean, what do you want? I mean, I still.
No, stop.
I mean, I'm really hungry now.
Almost.
We almost made it out, buddy. We almost made it out of here.
I don't understand why you guys don't want to eat lunch with me.
So close.
Yep. I think we covered quite a bit today, guys. So, there's a lot of different things. And I know there's probably 100 more that we could have touched on. If there is something that we didn't cover, or things that you have heard and want to know if it's true, or misconceptions or whatever, like hit us up. Leave us a comment either on like one of the videos or on Instagram or Facebook. Hit us with a message. You can always email us at castironworkouts@gmail.com. Reach out. We're more than happy to answer questions, or even talk about it on another episode. It's always fun too when we get people that ask questions and we can kind of cover it in future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a like or a follow.
Thumbs up.
Yep, on Facebook and the Insta. No Twitter.
We're working on it.
Still no Twitter.
Are you really gonna get a Twitter?
We're working on it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, you're not involved in the tweet.
I can't
Twitter.
even handle the social media I have.
Okay, so give us a like, give us a review. Reviews help us a ton. Either on Apple Podcasts.
What do you guys think of Rachel? Honestly.
And Rachel just got voted off the island.
You keep bringing me back.
I know. We feel bad for you. We feel bad for you. We're going to have an entire episode where we statue you. You know that, right? So anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Again, if you guys have anything you guys want answered, let us know. Our goal is to help you guys in any way that we can. So, that's what we got for you guys today. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.